When I first decided to visit South Korea, I thought, what do I know about the place? And it really wasn't much. I've got a Samsung TV, I think that's Korean. I've watched Squid Games, that's Korean, but that's creepy Korean. And my mate from tennis, Michael, his wife's Korean and she likes to eat a lot of fish. And that was about it. So when I arrived here last night, I really was in for a shock.
There's an obsession for staying healthy, not a bad thing. Cleanliness, high on the priority list too. And a passion for baseball. There's a fixation for dangling extremely ugly little things on your bag. Some take it too far. This prize shop is where you can win an ugly little dangling thing. I don't think it's for me. Above ground, the night market is absolutely buzzing. Just the place to come if you want a big box of deep-fried crispy baby crab. Two more obsessions, food and K-pop.
You're all I can think of, every cup I drink of. You're my soda pop, my little soda pop. Cool me down slow hot, hold me up, I won't stop.
Time for my dinner. Not sure what I've ordered here. Shiny metal chopsticks are making it a bit tricky to pick up the raw beef, and the raw egg trickier still. Another glass of raspberry wine, and I'm done. But if things go wrong in the night, my automatic toilet has a setting for every eventuality. The Korean peninsula is right up here, hanging down from the northeast of China. The south is just a tad smaller than England and 70% of its mountains. Korea dates back over 4,000 years. It's always been either united or divided. Today it's very divided. Over time, dynasties have come and gone. The last collapsed in 1910. That's when the Japanese took control, and it wasn't good news for Koreans. The farmers lost their land, they were forced into hard labour, and planned to absorb Korea into the Japanese Empire. When the Japanese surrendered after World War II, the Soviets entered Korea from the north and US forces from the south. The divide between the two was the 38th parallel. The two superpowers agreed a temporary solution, a military occupation line. But soon they were all in all-out war, communists against capitalists. 3 million people died in the Korean War, until an armistice saw a pause. Crossing the river, we're entering the demilitarised zone, the DMZ. It's a 4-kilometre wide buffer straddling the border of the 38th parallel, and it's one of the most heavily guarded areas in the world. The armistice meant that in an instant, north and south were divided, like the Berlin Wall. For most people, it became impossible to cross from one side to the other. Millions were instantly separated from their families, and still are. Memorials honour lost families in the north, and messages flutter in the wind, blowing their messages north. Families still hope for unification, but the armistice was only temporary. Technically, the two countries are still at war. Behind these fences, over 2 million landmines were dropped. Most are still sitting there today. It's become quite a bizarre tourist destination too. Coachloads arriving at pre-allocated slots. There's an amusement park, a Hollywood-style sign, a must for selfies, and a reconstruction of the actual building where the armistice was signed. There are reminders all around that North and South Korea are still at war. Only recently, Rocket Man, as he's known locally, has blown up roads and rail links to the south. Despite the tragedies, there seems to be plenty of profiteering. You can buy a bit of old rusty barbed wire or North Korean money. It may be real, it may not. You'll never be able to spend it, so you'll never find out. Heading south out of the DMZ, it's all been early morning at Seoul Station, just me and this little chap, R2-D2, following his purple beam, keeping everything clean, whilst down by the tracks, marshals guide passengers to departing trains. The trains don't look that impressive, but inside is a different story, plenty of legroom. And for me, time to catch up on my notes. I got off at a random town, not a tourist in sight, but it does make things a bit more difficult. I want some lunch. My translator app tells me it's a minimum of 2 people to eat. Let's try something else. This looks good. But something's not right. There's not a single man in sight. I don't know, might be a Korean thing, but I'm outnumbered. I'm not risking it. Back to the station, Friday afternoon, and it's busy. Everyone getting off for the weekend. I hop on a bus, heading south. Koreans have some really good ideas. These phone blocks protect car doors. These straps help pull yourself in a taxi. And the mirrors mean you can see if it's clear before opening the door. But some things remind me of home. These guys enjoying lunch with their baby in a buggy. Nope, they love their pet more than any child. Arguing with a parking attendant. And even in Korea, Amazon drivers still dump parcels on your doorstep and claim they've been delivered. Okay, Jeonju's traditional village is reconstructed for tourists, but it's been done very well. Apart from fortune tellers touting from their little booths, and modern-day artists creating really odd portraits. For me, I could be a K-pop icon. Or even this. Eating out has been something of a hybrid experience. The chef prepares a bowl of ingredients, to me mostly unidentifiable. It's plonked on a gas camping stove on your table, and you sit there while it boils. If you want, you can choose to sit on the floor, far more elegant, but I don't think I'll ever get up again. Most of the hotels are Hanok-style houses, all very traditional, quite stunning. Beds or futons rolled out on the floor, much more comfortable than they look. But the walls are paper thin, literally. A note was left by my bedside to keep my words quiet and to refrain from moving as much as possible. I daren't move all night. But in the morning, I had a problem.
Sleeping on the floor was one thing, but in the morning it's trying to remember which panel goes where. No. Does that one go there? No. To find the door.
I solved the puzzle and managed to break free. First stop of the morning is this shrine. It was built to house a priceless portrait of the founder of the Joseon dynasty, the longest lasting of them all. I'm not being funny, but for such a valuable piece, you'd have thought it would be better protected. The Catholics have 5,000 priests across South Korea, but it's the Presbyterians who rule the roost. They outnumber all the other Christian religions by a mile. I took a peek inside and was less than impressed. Maybe it's just a quiet week. It's so fascinating when you just walk. I snuck into the dress rehearsal for a local Amdram production. A man says angry things. There's patriotic flag waving. All the Koreans get killed. These Koreans really don't seem to like the Japanese. In Korea, hiring a hanbok is quite a thing. They're a traditional Korean clothing. They come in all shapes, colours and sizes. Then, head off to a famous landmark. Here, it's a field of tombs. These burial mounds house ancient Silla kings and queens. But be careful. The penalty for walking on these mounds is severe. 20 million won. That's £10,000 or 2 years in prison. But now you're dressed up and you've found your favourite spot, then take it in turns to strike a pose.
Now, if you're wondering how I'm getting around when I'm not on trains or buses, well, the answer's one of these, and it's not as difficult as you might think.
That is, until you get waved down. It turned out to be just a dummy, which is what I felt like for being taken in. Another early start. Now, I've travelled on South Korea's railways for almost a week. Never spotted a piece of litter, not heard anyone making a single sound. London could learn a lot. For the last leg of my journey, I'm in Busan. It's South Korea's largest port, and looking at this construction, it's set to keep hold of the title. Much of it is a giant building site. So I've escaped the chaos to enjoy the peace of the fishing port. Apparently South Korean seagulls love Wotsits. Now here's my David Attenborough moment. Finally, I've got time to take a ride in a sky capsule. The views are sensational. Apparently the sky capsule ranks in the top 100 things to do in South Korea.
Well, that's my Halle Berry impression for the day. Now it's the end of my journey through Korea. It has been fascinating. Still a few things I'm confused by, but what a place. And tonight I set sail from this harbour across the Sea of Japan to land in Japan. I'll be there in the morning, but that's another story. For now, goodbye.